IF. I just seem to love Fridays. It seems like I'm always wanting to do a live on a Friday. Um, anyway, I want to talk about having a bad day. And for me, as a new widow, weekends were the worst because during the week I have, I'm working. I got stuff to do. And on the weekend I have stuff to do, but I'm not typically working, so I'm not connecting with people. And often I would feel really, really alone, especially when I had to do things that I don't really like to do, like change the oil on the frickin' lawn tractor and stuff like that. Or things that I know how to do, but I'm maybe not strong enough, or it'd be easier with two people. And so here I am alone, struggling, often spending the whole weekend alone after, I was a widow. And I would get really down. And so that's why I want to share this, because weekends for a lot of people are a hard time. Now, sometimes if you've got family around, you can be busy with family or friends, and if you're not ostracized, sometimes as a widow you're ostracized. So, or maybe ostracized is a strong word, but once the funeral's over and people get on with their lives, they forget that you are drowning in grief. So anyway, so. And you can be doing fine, and then bam, some memory hits and you're out. So I want to address that as well. But so one of the things is sometimes you just want to pull the covers over your head, and sometimes that's okay. But you don't want to make a lifestyle out of that. You don't want to hibernate. And so if you find that you are pulling the covers over your head too many times in a week, you need to start taking some steps for your own survival. And because that's just not a way to live. And I get it. It's like sometimes you just can't move. You don't want to move, and you don't want to feel. And so it's easier just to go to bed and sleep or lay there and whatever. So, and by the way, I'm playing with an experimental program that worked for me. So if you feel like you're stuck and you're spending too much time with the covers over your head or feeling bad, put stuck in the comments or PM me, and I will we'll see if this is a fit for you. May or may not be. Okay, so number one tip is remember that it's just a day. This is just a day. It's not forever. It may feel like it. You may look at the landscape of your life and think that it's all, hey Norma, glad you're here. You may think that it's always going to be gray like this, but it won't be if you take some steps. But it's gray today. So accept that it's gray today. Don't fight it, because fighting it actually makes it worse. I'm glad you're stopping by. Gonna stop by and see me? Are you gonna see me today? Okay, so surrender. And I want to point out that surrender is not the same as giving up. Surrender is not hopelessness. Surrender is acceptance. Okay, I'm having a bad day, and I'm going to be having a bad day until I don't. And let that just be okay. Yeah, it sucks, but it's also okay. And given the circumstances, and I'm talking primarily about widows, but there's a lot of situations that can take you out and make you feel like it's never ending. But it is not never ending unless you continue doing the same thing. Okay? The other thing that I just think is so important is reach out, and be careful about who you reach out to. Make sure that it's somebody that's above you in thought process. I don't mean like superior to you, but I mean someone that understands what you're going through, and they have the inner strength to be able to hear your stuff and not get taken out in the game themselves. And there are some people that are such bleeding hearts that if you tell them, your sad story or your depression or whatever, it'll bring them down. I am not one of those. Yeah, well, we'll have to figure that, because I think you're in the Lansing area, Norma. So we could maybe meet for coffee. I think that's a blast. I love meeting for coffee. And we can video chat. That's the next best thing to be in there. I love video chat. So, and y'all have heard, if you've been on my some of my lives, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I don't know, when I was just really, really depressed, I reached out to a woman I didn't know well, and we talked every day, and I'm telling you, that was a lifesaver. And she would listen to me when I needed to be listened to, and she would hold me accountable when I was being a dumbass, and in the most loving way. And it was just, and it worked for both of us. We grew so much from that partnership that we have, and we don't talk much now because she's out walking the Camino in Spain or something, but we still will message and get back and forth if we need it. You need somebody that will listen to you. Now the deal is If you are chronically complaining about the same thing and you're not taking steps, then you want your accountability advisor, friend, coach, mentor, whatever you want to call this person, to put a time limit on it. Like a 5-minute. Hey, Marianne. Like a 5-minute. Yes, get your story out, because we as women, we need to get that story out. Get it out, but do it in a short period of time, and then be open to a different thought process, a different way of being. If you've got no one to listen to you, or no one you trust enough, by the way, there's also therapy, counselors, grief counseling, that kind of thing. Do something to get it out. Hi, Luann and Janice. Journaling is a wonderful tool, and I find for myself, you might be different, I do my best journaling in the morning. I almost feel like my emotions in my mind, when I wake up in the morning, they just sort of drift, and then pretty soon I'll get a focus, and I often will get a focus by writing. And one really good trick with journaling is just start writing. Write anything that comes up. You could be talking about the grass is green and needs to be mowed, and then in the next breath you could talk about the dust on the tabletop or whatever. It doesn't matter. Start writing, because if you will develop that habit of writing, you will find that you will get into the core of what you need to explore or excavate in order to move to the next step. It's a really, really good process. Journaling is wonderful, but you have to do it without judging. Same thing with your friend, by the way. Whoever you're going to call when you're down, make sure that somebody that does not judge you, that doesn't set a time limit on how long you can grieve or that kind of thing. I got to quit saying that kind of thing and that sort of thing. But anyway, you know what I mean. So, and be careful that you're not setting, that you're not making a lifestyle out of being a victim or suffering or that kind of thing. I said it again. Anyway, because people do that. And when people are like that, you avoid them like the plague. Nobody wants to be around Debbie Downer on a chronic basis. Yes, everybody's entitled to have a bad day and even a bad season, but you don't want to be somebody that sucks the life out of somebody else's life. And then the fourth item is change your state. Often when you're in a bad mood, your body is tight and you're not breathing, you're tense, so you're not breathing well. So moving, going for a walk, doing some yoga, changes the energy in your body, and it changes your mind, because your mind and your body work together. Another thing, if you're a bath taker, take a bath. That's not my gig. I can't sit still that long. But even a shower. I mean, you can get in the shower and let that water run down, and you can imagine it taking all the poison out of your body, and that kind of thing. I did it again. And another trick is to beat on something. The best thing is a towel rolled up, and then you duct tape it on both ends in the middle. Don't use a tennis racket, because when you hit, if you hit the bed with a tennis racket, the force of hitting it or whatever hurts your shoulders and arms. It's like, that's no good. But I was in a workshop a long time ago. We took towels and we duct taped and we beat the shit out of the floor. And that's a really good way if you're angry. It might even work. I've never done that, but if you're depressed, if you beat on the bed, with a towel like that, it might actually break the depression and give you more energy, because that's part of what you need when you're stuck. You need to change the energy. So that's what we're talking about. And then take a nap. Again, don't spend your life with the covers over your head. But oftentimes, you know how they always say a good night's sleep? I can't think how you say it. But anyway, you're having a problem at night, and then you sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, you're refreshed and you're ready, and it doesn't even seem like a problem anymore. So take a nap. And if you're somebody that would have a tendency to oversleep, then set a timer so that it's a 20-minute nap, half hour at the most. I used to take 2-hour naps, and I'd wake up all groggy, and it would mess up my day. Now I can power nap, and I need to power nap sometimes. If you can't take a nap, meditate. And if you don't have time you could do a 5-minute meditation, but if you don't have time for that, breathe. Breath is life. So, take some deep breaths and visualize the air coming in and going into your body and finding the the poison that's in your body and then breathe it out. And those kinds of visualizations and those thought processes really do make a difference. And then I love this one. Smile or fake laugh. It's the craziest thing. And I do this sometimes when I'm in the car. If I find I'm in a bad mood in the car, I'll just smile. And it is crazy how it lifts you up. And then you could fake laugh. And maybe you fake laugh 2 or 3 times. And then you'll catch yourself actually laughing. And by the way, that's a good trick for when you're getting your picture taken. You can fake laugh and it puts a twinkle in your eye and you get better pictures. So, 2 tips for the price of 1, right? Anyway, so I hope this is helpful. I love feedback. So let me know if you're having a bad day, if any of these things work for you, if you have any questions. I love questions. I love things that work, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. And again, I do have this experimental program that I'm testing to see if it works for others as well as it worked for me. So if you want to know more about that, put stuck in the comments or PM me or ask me a question, or y'all know how to get a hold of me. And have a great weekend. I hope it's full of joy and fun and productive and peaceful. So thanks for being here, TGIF.